It is a beautiful Friday. It's been overcast a little bit, but we're here. We're ready to do this thing. Good morning. Hope y'all doing well. Happy Friday to you, GG Naturals. How you doing this morning? Grand Acres, how you doing today? Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning. I'm a Central Time Zone. I may be too early. No, it's all good. It's all me. I don't care what I try to do to prep myself and get ready. Some reason things don't seem to work out right. But I appreciate you being here. And I want to first of all say to everyone, please put some thumbs up if you can hear me and see me. Put some thumbs up if you can hear me and see me. I want to first of all, I'm going to wait and see if I can get some people to put the thumbs up. Got a dash for work, but I'll be listening. I appreciate that. Thank you for coming in, Brother Lawrence. How you doing? Good morning. Good morning to you. I see we got some. It rained all morning, but all is well. Okay, Gigi. Okay. I got a thumbs up. You can hear me and see me, Gigi. Cool, 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 cool. That's what's up. Safe travels, my Renaissance. How you doing? Caught you last night on Tampa. On Tampa's on live, great live. I caught you last night. As I drifted off to sleep, I was listening to you all. And great live. And Family Man already had to put some T's in the chat. If you thankful for today is Friday, put some T's in the chat. You know that today is a beautiful day, and you know today is the day that you are just blessed. Go ahead and put some T's in the chat. Put some T's in the chat for me, and for the not necessarily for me, but for the great. I just realized I got the wrong screen up. Okay, hold on for 1 second. Let me make this adjustment. I had the wrong camera on. And let me try to change this up on y'all. Apologize. I think we're good. I think we're good. Didn't nobody say they couldn't see me. I thought I had my other monitor on, but I didn't realize that was connected. But we're good. We're good. Hopefully we're good. Everything is solid. Tampa Creek. Be safe too. You traveling too? Be safe as well. Great live too. You did a great live last night. Enjoyed it. And I see Grand Acres is definitely thankful. And we got Family Man. What's going on, my brother? Good to see you. Bless up to you as well. We're gonna jump on right on in, y'all. We're gonna jump right on in. And this, let me be clear. When we talk about these different things, as we talk about land ownership and land purchasing, this can be applied to cars. You buying some appliances. A lot of these principles can be applied to any time you're buying things that are of great significance, especially if you're entering into what I call contracts, or you're into agreements and you're paying on time, or even if you're putting some major money down, anything greater than what you make a week bring home, to me, that's a major purchase. And so anytime you're making a major purchase, I'm hoping that some of these strategies that you can utilize, and I just want to share with you some of the things that equipped it, me and Gigi, and we also equip the others on how you can be successful with what you're doing and how you're moving. So we're going to talk about negotiating, y'all. We're going to talk about negotiating, and because I really want to focus on people buying land, one of the things that I really, really want people that are listening, whether you're on the fence, you're not on the fence, whether you're in the market or you're not in the market, I want you to be encouraged to diversify your investments and think about owning land. I don't care whether it's a slither of land. I don't care whether it's massive acreage. I don't care whether it's a farm. I don't care whether it's a city block. I don't care whether it's one building. It doesn't matter. I want you to purchase some land. Have that built into your portfolio. Don't strain yourself. Don't put yourself in a bad situation. But one of my goals and one of my missions with this channel, I got a lot of them, from growing to homesteading to independency to free thinking to motivation to fighting off anxiety and stress, to a lot of different things. But one of the things that I really want you to think about, and I know I keep driving this on and on, but I'm hoping that you all or obtaining some information that you can use. And whether you're getting ready to buy land or maybe you already own land, even if you're getting ready to sell property or what have you, I just want to share with you some of the things that I have encountered in the process. And I want you so prepared and so equipped that you're empowered to make the right decisions. You definitely got to start with research. So before we do anything, do your own research. Don't just listen to me. Do your research and do your fact finding and make sure before you sign on that dotted line that you know what you're getting into. Just make sure. So we're gonna talk about negotiation. You know, we do negotiating all the time. You know, if you wash dishes tonight, then I'll cook. You know what I'm saying? If you go ahead and work this week for me, this weekend for me, I'll work next week for you. You know what I'm saying? So anytime there's negotiating, that means that somebody getting something from someone else and someone making an exchange, but it makes the exchange a little bit sweeter. So think about it as you navigate through life and as you navigate through anything. If you're buying furniture, you buying a car, you buying property, you buying a boat, you buying an RV, you spending thousands of dollars and you getting ready to get into agreement. Don't accept that sticker price. Do not accept whatever price, even if it's on sale, even if it's a reduced cost. I want you to start getting into the mindset of looking for opportunities to reduce the cost. Finding those opportunities to reduce the cost. Now it comes with patience and it comes with not falling in love with whatever you're buying. And what I mean by that, you can fall in love later on with that. But then when you did your research, because we're talking about products, we're talking about physical, tangible things, not necessarily talking about relationship, even though some of these contracts or these payments we get into last longer than our relationships. I won't go into that, but we know that sometimes things happen is not based on our goals originally, but life happens and life does happen. And then I want to equip you with, if you have a set price and there's an advertised price and that's the going price, and if you get it below that price, that means even if it does not amount to what you really had in mind or had in store, that means you can liquidate it or get rid of it or exchange it without suffering a loss. That's the whole goal. As we move, we want to move in a calculated fashion, a calculated way. There's so many forces that are against you being successful. There's so many forces that are not giving you your worth. So there's times where you have to learn the game and learn how to play it. And so today we're going to talk about some of the strategies on how you can go in before a major purchase, be prepared, be ready, and let's cut that deal. So we're going to jump on in. Let me go to the chat before we jump on in. Tampa Creek Homestead and Moore says, I'm Ubering. And thank you. Look, hey, give props to prostitute. And it was fun. You know, I like I said, when the sun go down, I typically go to sleep, but every now and then I wake up and I caught you live. I thought it was cool. I love your panel. J3 was on there and a bunch of other people, man. Much love. This is my favorite subject right now because this is our journey right now. Okay. So hopefully this is not only timely, it'll be beneficial to you as well. Repetition is a powerful tool. Yes, it is. That's how we learn. We sing songs, we sing our ABCs, we go over it time and time after again because that's how we retain and we learn. And then later on, we don't even think about it. It's like right now, I don't even think about it. If I go to a car lot, if I walk into a car lot, and I'm talking about a used car lot, right? If I walk to a used car lot looking at a used car because I really don't, or I'm not interested in buying a new car, period. Not when I can save thousands just by way to 6 months or to another model year to purchase a vehicle. But this is the thing. Time I walk into the lot, the first thing I'm looking at is flaws. Time I walk into a situation, the first thing I'm looking at, how can I get it at a reduced rate? And then also, wise to those that are not into buying cars, it's so many resources. You got car gurus, you got a bunch of other stuff, just like with land. You got Zillow, you got realtor.com, you got the property assessor, tax assessor's office in whatever county you're looking at. And then they have a little section over there where it says recent sales. And then also Zillow and other apps and other online services will show you what the recent sales in the neighborhood, what's the going sales. Use those tools. Learn how much has property been going for in that area, how fast and how quickly, how many days are things on the market. And we finna jump into this. So let's go. All right. First of all, I want to welcome you in and thank you so much for coming in. And y'all put the T's in the chat. Continue to put the T's in the chat if you're coming in a little bit later and you know that you are thankful. Put some T's in the chat. And if you don't mind, please hitting that like. That really helps. That helps the algorithm that says, hey, I'm providing some kind of positive information, and it's not only entertaining, but it's maybe educational too as well. So here we go. The first thing, let's talk about why is negotiating so important? Negotiating is so important because, like I said before, if you're buying things at what other people are buying it for, number one, you're buying it at ceiling prices. And majority of the things we can touch, feel, smell, taste are corruptible. Some stuff may grow in desire to buy because people decide on pricing, right? Because whatever someone is willing to pay for something, that is deemed the price of it, right? Does not mean it's the value because some stuff is invaluable. There's no price, but I'm talking about price points. So if you see a plot of land and you're interested in that plot of land, don't let the price guide you to that plot of land, but let the attributes of that land guide you there. Look for things that you're looking for zoning, for natural resources, for the topography, for the access, for the infrastructure. Look for all of that first, and then sort it in price. That makes it a whole lot easier. It's almost like if I wanted to buy, I love my Honda CRVs. I got quite a few of them. If I'm looking for a Honda CRV, I know the model, I know the make. So I'm going to go online and I'm going to key in for a search for a Honda CRV. Same thing you do with a land. You know you want something with a lake, or you might want waterfront access, or you might want something convenient to hospitals, or you want a certain zip code. Knowing these things can screen out a lot of wasted time and a lot of wasted effort, right? Now, by knowing those things, then you know, okay, I want approximately 1 to 5 acres. I want approximately 10 to 15 acres or 20 to 50 acres. You put all those filters on your search into whatever app you want to use. There's a lot of apps out there. And then once you take that filter, I mean, even y'all don't sleep on Facebook. I just say do your research. But a lot of people bought stuff on Craigslist. But Facebook is growing with deals. I mean, for used cars, for equipment. I sell things on Facebook, land, mobile homes, all of those different things. There's a lot of great deals out there where people are like, I don't want to go through the customary process, which that's why I say do your due diligence, because if you're not going through a professional realtor or real estate attorney, you're taking some chances. You better get one on your side, whether they have one on their side or not. Get one on your side. So please have your professional so you know what you're doing. But you can do your fact finding. So if I did 1 to 5 acres and zip code 1111, right? And then I said I want something with a waterfront feature. Now I can screen it. Now I can put all that data in, and then now I can organize it and sort it by the lowest price to the highest. Now that's going to give me a parameter. That's going to show me, okay, this is the low and this is what the highest is going for in this area, this region. Now I'm equipped with information. Now then I go take a look at the highest thing. Don't mean I can afford it, but I take a look at the highest and I say, why is this piece of property higher than the lowest price piece of property? I start looking at the description. I start reading the description. And I'm getting to the negotiation, but these are the fundamental principles that you're going to have to do to be able to negotiate, because you can't negotiate without information. You cannot come to the table ready to negotiate and have your game on if you don't have the historical, the background, the research. So yes, I'm going through this process, but this is the building block to get you prepared and ready to come to the table to make your offer and to make it where it can be respectable, but then at the same time, it can be beneficial to you at the same time. So one of the things, you look at this and you say, hey, this piece of property has $1 million homes around it. That's why this thing is like blowing, and it's in the community, it's in the neighborhood. Well, I don't want this. I don't want this HOA. I don't want this. So you screen those out. Then you go to another field and you say, boom, I don't want no HOA. Boom, I don't want no community, no neighborhood, no restrictions. And you filter those, and then you slowly come down to a small section of land. And then you say, hey, got me a nice little list, or maybe 8, 9, or 10. These 10 pieces of properties, I'm going to go take some time. I'm going to ride out and take a look at it. I'm not going to involve anyone. I'm going to go to the property assessor office. I'm going to look at the recent sales. I'm going to look at what sales been going for. And then I'm going to look at that listing and I'm going to say, how long has this property been on the market? This property just listed is hot. So negotiating is going to be, the window of negotiating is going to be very narrow. It just listed. People are excited. They just listed it, right? Now, if I see something being on the listing, and depends on where you are, some land could be on the market for a year or even more. Some of them could be 6 months. Land does not move as fast. Raw land does not move as fast typically in most markets as houses. Not always. There's always exceptions to the rule. But if you're in a area and it's rural and you see that this price of land is here, and read that description when they advertise. Motivated seller. Look for those keywords. Motivated seller means I can negotiate. Come negotiate. Or won't last long, but it's been on the market for almost a year. Or reduced price. Or if you look at the history, because like Zillow and all that, they'll show you when they listed it. And some of them you'll see they listed it last year and they listed at a higher price, but then now they relisted it this year and it's at a lower price. That tells you some things where you may have some room for negotiating, right? That tells you that you may have some room for negotiating. The same thing you do. You go on a car lot, you're looking for a used car. You go into the car lot, you go and you wait to the end of the month. After the 20th, closer to the 30th, if it's the 30th or the 29th or what have you. And then what you do, you try to find, you know your make. I know my CRV. I know what model I want. I know I did my research. I know kind of what mileage range I want. And I look at the suspension. I look at how it sits. I look at the tires. I look at how it kept. Now, anything that's lacking does not mean I don't buy it, but that leaves room for negotiation. The tires ball, I'm not giving you full asking price, right? The land is mangled. It has maybe some storm damage. I'm not giving you full price. Or just say you notice that there may be some wetlands. You're comfortable with it in the back corner of the wetlands because you pulled up the flood zone and you say, I'm not planning on building back there. And I want some hunting area and I want some unbuildable area because I want to hunt on my land. And that this little wet area means I'm going to have animals. I'm going to have wildlife. I'm going to have some wildlife traffic. I'm going to have some opportunities, and it's not going to be buildable. So I don't have to worry about people coming in and just building up on it. These provides opportunities, right? So you look for all of these different things, but even though it's wetland, you can negotiate and say, hey, you selling these 28 acres, but only 5 and 6 of these acres are buildable. If I can't build, but on 5 or 6, your price is very inflated. We need to negotiate. What is the average price of the area that you're looking at per acre? That doesn't matter because guess what? 1 or 2 acres price will be here, but 10, 12, 20 acres, the price will be here per acre. So you can't base it like 1 and 2 to 3 acres because typically the average buyer of land, I don't want that much land. I don't want to do all that to that land. Just because you get 20 acres, we might have cleared maybe an acre on this land. You don't have to clear the land. You become land owners, but you become land management team where you just let it be. Let it be. But it builds a barrier and it gives you some buffer to where if you did want to go hunting, you ain't got to worry about shooting nobody's windows out. If you wanted to set up a nature stand or whatever, you don't have to worry about interruption of people coming and going. So these are some options. J, I mean JGD, Behaving. I think that's J3. That's his other channel. What's going on? If it is, what's up, my brother? If it's not, what's up, my fellow watcher? What's up, Garden Chronicles? How you doing this morning? Good morning to you, Chris White. What's going on? Good morning. Good morning, Gigi. Who I learned the most from? I still have his course, cassette tapes, videos, and hard copy. Yeah, you remember Carlton Sheets and all them, man? Let me tell you, Carlton Sheets was the man, hands down. Y'all talking about Carlton Sheets? Carlton Sheets was the one who definitely turned us on and put us on game with a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Early in the days where you had to, you go on there and you look in a magazine, or you might get a TV show to come on about 1 o'clock in the middle of the night, and then Carlton Sheets might be on there with his program, and and then you call that number and then you order a book. Yeah, we did all of that. We did all that long before there was social media and you followed people and you subscribed and you got all this good free information. Well, to get information, you still have to pay for it, and we didn't mind investing into it. It saved us so much, and it continues to save because even today we still shouldn't mind paying for some information. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't mind supporting people that are giving information as well. But I feel you, my friend. Carlton Sheets is the man. And if y'all get a chance, I know y'all can find Carlton Sheets on YouTube. Some of his old video, Carlton Sheets. God rest his soul. He continues to still provides necessary and needed information. What's up, Nikki? How you doing? The everyday life of an OCD chick. What's going on? Good morning to you. Good morning, and good morning to Elot Nation as well. Shy, my good friend Shy. How you doing, Queen? Good to see you. Bless up this morning. And Shy and a lot of other people. I do apologize. Yesterday I was getting ready to do this topic. Yesterday I got ill and I had to change the time to today. And for whatever reason, it created another live, even though I didn't create the live, didn't even see it in my live feed. But some of the Eco Nation shared with me, hey, you got a live feed yesterday evening. And so I apologize, but I appreciate y'all coming in, appreciate y'all supporting and being patient with the process. Because some stuff I can't do anything about. You know, I try to do my best, but hey, we try to do the best we can. His students were awesome. They gave real life examples. Yeah, and some of his students are teaching now. Hint, hint, me. I'm a prodigy of some of his teaching as well. So bless up to you all. Yeah, J3GS is one and the same. So bless up to you, my brother. Bless up. So we're gonna keep going now. Let's go. Let's continue on the subject. So as we dive in, we're going to talk about some tactics. So let's give an example. Say there's a piece of property that costs $100,000. You're looking at a piece of $100,000 property, and let's talk about some of the things you want to look for. First of all, what determines it being 100,000? When I see a piece of property 100,000, I'm already trying to figure out how can I get this property reduced down to at least be able to be respectable and at least get 15% off of it, $85,000. Make an offer for 85,000. Let me at least try to look at it because most people that sell real estate, not all, but most people that sell real estate, they place that listing price higher than what they wanting to sell it for, hoping to have some negotiating room or hoping to have some strategies to maybe create a bidding war. Sometimes people list things less than what it is. Now in those cases, they're trying to create a bidding war. So if you do your research and you find out that $100,000 piece of property is really worth $150,000, flags should come up. Your antenna should stand up. And then your question is either what's wrong with it or you trying to start a bidding war. Now we have a lot of strategies down here in the beautiful state of Florida because you have a worldwide audience. When you buy land down here in Florida, you're not competing just against. And I'm not saying it's not like that with anywhere else. I'm talking about based on what I have witness. But what I've noticed is you competing against the world. So the first thing I'm doing is taking a look at that land, and I'm doing my research and see how can I get a respectful offer for at least $85,000. If I look at all the numbers, I look at the recent sales, and I'm looking at, just say I find out really that land is valued at 95, 93. And if I come in at 85 instead of coming in at 90, I got some wiggle room. You don't want to insult nobody, but then you also want to show that, hey, I'm serious about this offer. And so just say when you do a deposit, some people say 1,000 is required. Some people say 2,000 required. Sometimes land, more of a deposit is required than a house. So if they're asking for 1,000, just say if I came in and I'm gonna say, hey, I'm coming in 85. I'm presenting the offer at 85,000, but I'm putting $2,000, even though you're asking for $1,000 deposit. Number one, 85,000 is not necessarily disrespecting them. And then the $2,000 deposit, I double what they asking for a deposit. They know that I'm serious because you can risk losing that 2,000 if you don't. There's a due diligence period, as I always talk about. From when you put in that contract, you need to make sure you put a due diligence piece in there. There's in all these contracts, there should be a due diligence clause. If it ain't, you get your realtor to write one in, or you get your real estate attorney to write one in. Due diligence. What due diligence period means, hey, I'm going to make sure I do all my research. I'm going to do my surveys. I'm going to do all my title searches. I'm going to make sure I do everything that I can do. Make sure there's no liens on this property. Make sure you own it free and clear. I'm going to pull up the plat map. I'm going to look at the history. I'm going to do all my research within this 15-day period or 1 week period, whatever period of time you give. I got to make sure I do this. So based on that, if you in the state of Florida, if you deem that some things ain't quite right in less than that 15-day period, you can say, I want to get out. And you pull yourself out of that transaction and you get your $2,000 back. Okay? Y'all hold on for 1 minute. I hear some people at my front gate. And hold on for 1 second. Give me 1 second, y'all. Hey, I apologize about that. I had some people on a four-wheeler outside my front gate, and not quite sure what they were doing. But when I got out there and I kind of made myself visible, they took off. So I don't know what's going on. People have their own reasons. Some people just being nosy. Some people just be looking. But nevertheless, I apologize about that. But what I was saying. Oh, so $100,000 property, and you have that, right? And you come in at 85. You come with aggressive deposit. They may take you serious. Now they may say, no, you can't. I won't accept that offer of 85,000. They'll come back and say, if they're taking you serious, I accept that deposit money, but I come in at 92 or 93. Just say they're 93. Off the bat, you just say $7,000. To you, $7,000 may not be a lot, but to me, they all of that. What the dogs. When I go live, I can't have the dogs running around, right? Because of that. If I had the dogs, family man, I wouldn't have to get up. No, I would have had to get up, but you got to understand, my dogs they wild, and so we have to contain our dogs because if someone stops out there, which somebody recently stopped, you see some crazy stuff out here, man. People stop. I'm not gonna go down there because that's off the subject, but I seen some wild stuff um, with people stopping because I have my places in the woods. See, I can go in these woods, won't nobody see me, don't nobody hear me walking around. It just rains, so the leaves ain't cracking. It's perfect time for just surveillance and stealth mode. But yeah, if I had my dogs, they would have been out there and they would have been meeting and greeting some of those people, and that's public road. You know, we got to be respectful. So when the dogs are only out and about when I can be here watching them, and right now Gigi, she's doing her thing, and so I have to keep the dogs contained because I got to watch them. They very intelligent and they very curious. So yeah, that part. They're going, yeah, you better believe they're going to check it out. I mean, yeah, I watched this one woman. I thought she was a man. The windows were tinted. She was in a vehicle and she stopped right around my little sitting area. But you can't see me. I'm in the woods, so I got sitting areas. You can't see me. But I sit outside the road just to see, because even though this is a rural road, it gets a lot of traffic. We get a lot of dirt bike riders. We get a lot of traffic, period, for it to be a rural road, because it's one of the main thoroughfares back in here in this rural community. And so I'm sitting there, and the dogs are with me, and they stand up. I stand up because they sitting there, and then they open up the door. Now, first they roll down the window, and then I noticed it was a woman, and she's fiddling and fumbling with something, and she off to the side fumbling with a little something, and I'm looking at her, and I said, "What is she doing?" Then she opens up the door, and I said, "Oh Lord, don't open up the door," because the road kind of goes like down. We on a bank, and we can kind of look down on them. It's not a. It's probably about the roof of your car, or average car. 4-wheel drive truck, probably equal looking. But she in the low in a vehicle, and we kind of see her, and the dog's standing up there, and she opened up the door, and the dogs go to barking, and she looking down the road, but them dogs are right there on her. They locked in, and I said, "Shh, hush, hush, hush," and I said, "Calm down, calm down," and then they just like, they want to go in there and jump through the woods and jump down on the road. I said, "Nah, can't do that. Can't do that, fellas. Come on back." And so she got out there, and I was trying to figure out what she was trying to do. She took her legs out the car, and when she heard me and the dog, she got in the car. She pulled down, but she don't realize she was still in front of my property. She was just in another section of the property, and I could see her. Lo and behold, she there to kind of relax her bladder. And she ended up doing it, left some tissue in the road and all that good stuff. And I was like, man, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. You see some crazy stuff. Hey, Sabian, how you doing? Maisie, hello, 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 hello. Yes, yes. Um, but anyway, so going back to this negotiation thing, I do apologize. Here we go. The negotiation. So if you get it for 93, you just save yourself $7,000. $7,000 is $7,000. I don't know where you're from, but $7,000 could buy you um, some land clearing. $7,000 may be able to get you started on your well. $7,000 may get you can pay for your whole septic tank system, right? $7,000 could help you with the electricity, with your power pole, and with your land clearing, your driveway, maybe your culvert if you need a culvert. It can do well. I'm glad you're doing good. I'm glad you're doing good, Sabian. And so negotiation is important, y'all. And when we look at the bigger the purchase, the bigger the savings can be. The larger the purchase, the larger the savings can be. So don't sleep on it. You seen that property been there for 180 days. It hadn't been sold. They ask for this price. You see a price cut. Ask them for some more cuts. Put in your offer. Now, don't always. I love my realtors out there. I'm a realtor myself. I'm a realtor. Now, you'll have some of them be like, they ain't gonna take that. You put that off. They're not gonna set that off. You never can tell. They might have a family member that somebody might have passed, or they might just be tired. They might have just paid taxes on that land, and they got other lands. They just sick of it. They might. I've known land around this area where it was in a community development. That's why I say those things. They launched in on it because it's supposed to be an exclusive community development, and it flopped. And old people sat. Some of them people sat on that some of those property for 10 and 20 years, and now they in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, and they like, I want to be done with it. I want to get rid of it. All I've been doing is paying taxes. I'm not going to do anything with it. I thought I'd be able to flip it in 10 years or 5 years or whatever, but it's just sitting there. You may meet somebody who's at their wits end, they sick of it, and you the right time and you the right offer. And they say, bump it. I've been getting garbage offers the whole time. I'm going to accept this one. Another thing you could do when you negotiate, write letters with your offer. Put in a letter saying your situation, especially if you've done gone through something. If you have had mishaps in your life, and I'm not talking about what I thought about, what I dreamt about, I'm talking about that happened multiple times in my life. When as I shared with you, when I lost my home, lost my business, lost my income, lost everything during the recession, one of the things that I was able to buy with bad credit, with a foreclosure, but I had cash, I didn't have enough to pay for it, I still need to finance it from the credit union. I put in an offer and a letter. Now, granted, if your credit jacked up, you don't have that much money to pay for it, and you need some blessings, maybe offering them full price. You have to strategize and do the things that the average people won't do because it'll get you in the game. Because it's best to be here in the game than be on the sideline, and then you watch that same property 5, 6 years from now, then double in price, and you be like, man, I should have bought that. Man, I should have bought that. Because some of these properties, your payment every month may be $50, $100, $200 a month. And it ain't really hurting you. You just suffer from not drinking a few coffees, a few lattes, and a few double burgers per month, and you good. It gives you borrowing power. It builds your collateral. It builds your assets, and it also gives you negotiating room. So it's a lot of value in doing this stuff. And if you get it below the selling price, at any time you can just say, I'm finna put this up on the market, I'm finna walk away, and I'm done. Because you bought it less than selling price. So that's why it's so important to do this. One of the strategies, ask the seller, I give you full price, but can you pay closing costs? Some people say, I take full price, I'm not going on my price. Ask them, can you pay closing costs? Closing costs can add up, and sometimes into the thousands of dollars. Depends on what you're buying. Sometimes it'll be $500, $600. Sometimes closing costs could be from the hundreds to the thousands of dollars. Asking that seller who may not have had a full asking price, you putting in an offer maybe for full asking price of maybe $1,000 or $2,000. Imagine if you say pay closing costs and you take $2,000 or $3,000 off of it. You're in a win-win situation because now you don't have a large amount of out-of-pocket expense, and then you will save money on that actual piece of property. So there's different strategies and creative ways that you can do it, but at the same time save. It don't always have to be just cash or just money, right? Sometimes it's just, can you pay for a survey? If you can pay for a survey to confirm that this land is what you say, or do you have a recent survey that you can share. Some landowners, they may have, especially people who've been on the market, they may have had a deal that's getting ready to close or go bad down south, and then the buyer might not have enough resource to buy the survey, and so the landowner got a survey, and then they bought that survey, and then they kept that survey, and if it's recent, and what I mean by recent, you talking about 5 years, 10 years or less. 10 years is kind of pushing, but 5 to 10 years. Some surveys, if you talking about raw land in the middle of nowhere, 15, 20 year surveys are cool. You know what I'm saying? Do your own research, but I'm saying in my book, and this is only my opinion, this is not anything that's written in stone. Do your own research. But to me, if ain't nothing been messed around there, and there's a good, clean, credible survey, sometimes you can use that. That's less cost. Anything you can do to reduce your costs, it will allow you negotiating room to save more money, because when you get land, cash is going to be your best friend. Because when you get Jimbo to come down here with his equipment and to sell you the piece of property, and then to clean this piece of property, he don't have cash out. He don't have a credit card. I need cold hard cash. I come out here, I do it this fast, but I need some cash in my hand. And I gotta buy diesel, I gotta do everything, I gotta get my equipment, I gotta put the hydraulics on it. I don't do no credit card. And you're gonna find that more than anywhere. People don't do no credit card in these rural areas. They want cash. They want cold, hard cash. For real, for real. Family Man says $7,000 can get you 2 to 3 sheds. Depends on what size. It probably can. And Family Man, we're gonna have a conversation about sheds. Once we get over these humps, I want to share, man. I learned a lot of things that they done did remixes on ordinance and laws and stuff in my area, and I want to share it with y'all. And I just got to get through a few things. Once I get through a few things, I'll share that thing with you. Appreciate that. Yeah. So I thought you were having a stroke for a second. Man, let me tell you, had me great. Come on, maybe I am having a stroke. Come on, grab them keys and come on. But anyway, those are some of the things that you gotta keep in mind, right? Learn about financing. You know, get creative with financing. Some people, they buy land through owner financing. I'm not a big fan of owner financing, but I am a fan of owning land. I am a fan of, if that can get you in the door, that can get you in the market, and if it makes sense, because I always say, do your due diligence. Just because I ain't got good credit, I don't have a lot of money, don't be a fool to try to get into this game. It's all about the long game. It's all about the strategy. Now, I don't mind sometimes taking a $2,000, $3,000 hit over a short period of time for a big gain long term. But now, when you're talking about crazy long term hit and hoping and maybe, we don't do those, and I don't encourage that. Like I said, if you're doing owner finance, get you somebody to draw up some papers. If they make sure they don't owe anything on that land, make sure they put something in writing that they will not put any liens on that land as long as they own that land. Long as we in contractual agreement. Make sure you get somebody to write up a contract. Make sure they write that contract, get it notarized, get it signed, get it publicly recorded. Make sure that if they paying on that land, try to work out a deal where you make the payments on that land, and instead of just paying them, if you can. Not always at work, but you try to do that, or try to at least get access to their account, shared account, to see that you can see the balance, you can see the payments, you can see all of that. Or put in the contract request for receipts every time they make payment on the land. Because I'm telling you, you do not want to own a piece of land and do owner financing, and you don't put down, typically when you're doing owner financing, they're going to ask for a big down deposit, and then sometimes they're going to ask for a balloon payment at the end. And meanwhile, you're gonna be trying to gather your resources, put everything together, and you're gonna try to make it happen. But the sad part about it, it could be 5 years, 10 years, it could be 3 years, 4 years, and sometimes in between that, some people what they'll do to keep their land and to get you at the same time, they'll put a lien on that land. They'll borrow some money from that land, or they'll put a structure or something uh, on a piece that's connected to that land because they ain't had it parceled out yet. And now you got a lien on that land, and you're not free to close, right? You can't own that land because there's somebody else. Or I seen times where a good friend of mine spent over 6 years paying for a piece of property, and he was doing owner financing. And 2 of those years, the last 2 of those years that he was on that property, he wasn't making no mortgage payments. So the guy that was actually leased the purchase or owner finance, he was making timely payments. But the guy that actually owned the land quit paying on it. He said, I ran into hard times. And he wrote a letter. I read the letter. His wife passed, and he said he ran on a hard time, but he should have stopped taking that man's money. He should have been honest with that man and say, look, man, I can't, if I take this money, I'm going to use it for my own good. I ain't going to pay the payments. So make some accommodations because I'm finna let this thing go. I mean, because that karma stuff is real, y'all. Karma stuff is real. What's up, Season Tree? What's up, Season Tree? Family Man said, Gigi, meant to say 18 to 20,000. Okay, now that sound more real. Now, I'm not saying you can't buy a shed for 7,000. Two of them for 7,000. They sheds. More like an out shed. More like a little warehouse shed, or maybe like, yeah. Down here. The price is down here. Not the balloon payment. Yeah. Y'all in these contracts look for the balloon payment. And what a balloon payment for some of those who don't know, just say I'm buying a $10,000 piece of property and I got to put down $3,000. And then I make monthly payments of $1,000 a month. And then at the end of that year, I got to pay the balance, a balloon payment of the balance, the rest of it. There are contracts out there that do that. Cars, leases, anything major. So pay attention to all of that stuff. If you add up on your calculator your monthly payments and the amount you put down and it don't pay for that property, it's typically going to be a balloon payment at the end. Please pay attention to that because it's people that own land that makes a living off of those kind of situations, if that makes sense. So imagine I'm a landowner and I got some land. I ain't planning on selling it. Wasn't gonna sell it from the beginning. I put it out there for an outlandish price, but I put owner finances. People know, they say, whoa, I could do this owner financing because I don't have great credit, I don't have this, I don't have that. So I go in here, I give a deposit. Typically the deposit is fat. Then the monthly payments are kind of high. The interest rates is high. Then with all of that going on, right, you're at the mercy right there where at the end of that, guess what happens? They ask for a balloon payment. So if your balance is 30,000, your balance is 10,000 or 15,000, at the end of that term, they asking for that all at once. And then they banking on that you can't make that payment. And if you can't make that payment, they keep the property. All that deposit you put in, all the infrastructure you did to that land, all the monthly payments, they keep the property because you didn't make that balloon payment. The contract is null and void. So be careful. I'm buffering. I'm sorry. Can y'all hear me now? Put a thumbs up if y'all can hear me and see me now. It's good on my end. No buffer. Okay. So yeah, that balloon payment is something real, and you just have to sit down and do math. What's my terms? What's my terms? Take a look at your terms. Negotiate your terms. Sometimes you have room to negotiate your terms, and what I mean by that, like closing costs or like the term of the actual loan, you might say, hey, you got it set at 9.3% or 8.9% or 6.8%. What kind of negotiating can we do on the percentage as far as the interest rate? Can y'all knock it down a half a point, a quarter of a point? That can save you a lot long term. Remember, if you don't ask, you'll never get a yes. If you don't ask, you'll never get a yes. I'm going in by this refrigerator. They asking for $200 down, and the monthly payment is $60. I buy the refrigerator today if I can get it for no money down for $80 a month. Negotiate, or $65 a month. Do I have any room for doing that? Well, sir, you can't do that. Well, you're not the person I need to talk to. Can you reach out to finance or your manager and see what we can do? I noticed there's a ding on the outside of this refrigerator. Even if it's on the side, it's gonna fit inside the wall. You won't see it, but the ding is there. I noticed there's scratches over this particular model. I like this one, but matter of fact, is the floor model for sale at a discounted rate? Don't go for the okie doke every time at the ceiling price. Now, something is high demand, they can't keep it, it's taken, it's on back order and this and that. Your opportunity for negotiating is very slim. So know your market, know what you can do and how you can't do. If some appliances may be you're not concerned about no decor or nothing like that, go for a black refrigerator with maybe a front aluminum, two sides, three sides black, and the front sides is stainless steel. Ask for a reduced rate. Do you have any returns? Ask, do you have any returns? When you're going for land, sir, I know you got quite a bit of land. Do you have any other land that may be for sale? Do you own any other land? Do you know somebody that own any other land? Communicate, negotiate, and ask for what you want. Ask for what you want. Because Miss Native, how you doing? Good morning, good morning. You have the opportunity because you have what they want. You a buyer. You have what they want. Um, so another strategy that I would like to talk about is if you do have the owner financing, right? Negotiate the down payment. Negotiate the down payment. If they're asking for whatever amount of money, and just say not the income tax thing, don't do that. But if you know that, like, hey, next month gonna have 3 checks instead of 2 checks, pay periods. Next month gonna have an extra week in there instead of 2 weeks. Ask for, let me give you this amount down, but next month I'm gonna give you the remaining right there. Or I'm not able to make this initial. Can you take this deposit, earnest money, trust money, take it off the market, and give me 90 days to come up with that deposit, that down deposit? You never know what kind of situation someone's in. And remember, the longer the property is on the market, the more opportunity you have to negotiate. Look for rooms to negotiate. This is a bad neighborhood. You never was planning on staying there. You know that later on this neighborhood is going to grow. You know that you're watching the expansion of the city. You know it's on the cusp of expansion. You done went to a council city meeting. You know that it's slowly creeping over there, and you buy something over here in a less desirable area, and you know 1 or 2 blocks away it's changing. You buy this at a reduced rate, and guess what happens? You now got that smart investment. You're sitting on it. You really not designed to do anything with it, but you're just looking at this will give me enough resources to go to the next piece of property and the next piece of property. But do your research before you do that, because it does not mean that it's a win all, see all. But I keep saying, if I buy some land and it don't blow up like I want it to, what am I left with? Land. I mean, at the end of the day, you left with land. And whether it's in New York, whether it's in Washington State, Missouri, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, Florida, Kansas, it's land. Maine, Connecticut, it's land. Regardless, having land is a blessing. And we got to look at it as such, and we got to make sure we stay focused on that. So I've given y'all a few strategies, right? The negotiating strategies. And I'm hoping that as you enter in to your journey in buying land, that you have taken a look at and listened to some of these strategies and use an open mind. Look for rooms of opportunity. I don't care if I'm buying plants. Half of these plants, I didn't buy them at the regular price. Matter of fact, you know what I'm doing? Hint, hint, right now, you know what you should be doing? You should be looking at some abundance of plants over the next couple of months. And you should be eyeing out some plants where you see it's a bunch of them. Because spring is coming to a close and summer is coming to a win. And one thing about these big box stores and these nurseries, guess what's happening? Those plants gonna sit there. They're gonna, because nursery time is not that big, they're gonna reduce the staff. They're gonna move some of the staff people to some other different departments. And what guess what's gonna happen? Them plants gonna start to wilt. They're gonna start looking sick. But you're an expert grower. You've been growing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20, 30, 40 years. You know the potential in that plant. You know if you get a little loving, a little up potting, a little repotting, a little food, a little nurturing, come this fall, you get half off on that plant. Come this fall, you get 75% off on that plant. See, you go ahead in the springtime, maybe buy one or two just to get the thrill off of it. But your plan and your strategy is to wait to the fall to buy your reduced price plants. You do the same thing with land. You see a piece of land, you don't fall in love with it, but you want it. You would like to have that. And you pick you out of one or two pieces and say it don't sell during the spring and during the summer when everybody out and about, they're alive, they're vibrant, they feeling good, they throwing around money because I always wanted to get a piece of land over here. I always like this area. And they reject the offer because it ain't full. And then guess what? It gets cold. The weather get cold. It get a little eerie, miserable. You don't already peep that land during the spring, during the summer, during the fall, and now you get to look at it during the winter. In the wintertime, you get to walk on that land, you get to see it. You ain't got to worry about no creepy crawlers. You can survey that land because around here in Florida, all the reptiles, they go nap when it get cold. And guess what? Was not moving a lot? Real estate. Because most people are not buying real estate in one time. Guess what you can do? Negotiation. Guess what? The price is here. Come this winter, the price may be here. Through a little patience, a little time, a little perseverance, a little research, now you save yourself 5, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, $20,000 off of one transaction. And now you banking if you're doing $20,000 below selling price just by you opening up your mouth, just by you doing a little research, learning a little bit of something, reading between the lines, and then putting down and writing that this is what I'm negotiating, this is what I'm doing, and just say you save 15%, 20%, and you talking about 15, 20% off of something to be 200, 300, $500,000. You got equity. And now let's talk about the beauty in this. Now I'm finna spin it all around. Now you to negotiate. Now let's talk about the benefit. Most construction loans will only give you 80% of the value. So just say that $100,000 property, right? And I got them down to 80,000. They accepted. They bought it. That means the lending is going to only offer me $80,000 far as lending. And just say my house I'm getting ready to build costs 150,000. So I got $80,000 worth of equity, right? Minus that 120, that's $40,000 deficit. Now they're looking at it as a risk factor of $40,000. And now that boosts you where you bring down your interest rate, bring down your down payment, and then also will reduce by all of that, reduce your month to month. And now guess what? I done bought this property for 20% under value, built the structure on here, built the house. The value gonna go up because by the time you get finished building that construction house, that little small, that modest house, or maybe that mansion, guess what's gonna happen? The value gonna go poof, and it's gonna probably, in most cases, depends on what you're building, depends on where you're building, the location. Location is the key. But if you strategize, you do your research, you do your homework, you go back, play some of these videos and some other videos, and then you go do your fact finding, you do the numbers don't lie, you look at the comparables, you look at the recent sales, and you got a 3,500 square foot house, and the average 3,500 square foot house is running $700,000, $800,000, and you done got maybe $220,000 invested into your land, into the building of your house, or maybe even $300,000. But now you got a $500,000 worth of piece of property. So if it get tight, if for one reason you get sick of working at this particular place and you want to move, you want to go maybe to Mexico or you South America, you want to go to Italy or whatever, and you say, I'm done, I'm tired of this rat race, you sell that house at a $500,000 or more. You take that $200,000 worth of equity and you either buy something else in the United States or you use that for some other investment or some other tool that you would like to have. Now, it's not every day where people cut you checks for $200,000. Not every day people cut you checks for $80,000. Not every day people cut you checks for 100. Some people work for 30, 20, 15 years and don't have that in their retirement account. These are true, actual, obtainable numbers that an everyday person could do. I'm gonna share you this one story, and then I'm gonna let y'all go. Sean, in 2003, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Good to see you. One lady that we met, one of my customers, she went through a divorce, had the home of her dreams, started out from scratch, really didn't have too much of nothing. She went and she prayed about that thing, and she didn't make enough. She worked basically for the government, didn't make a lot of money based on her salary. Um, really didn't look promising. The market where she lived at, the price of homes was extremely high. And she got into looking at property that was foreclosed. She saw this foreclosed property. She said, Lord, I really want this property. She prayed about it. She thought about it, but she did action. She didn't just pray. She didn't just have faith. But what she did, she put in an offer that was outlandish. It's crazy. Significantly lower. The value of this house was maybe $100,000 to $150,000 more than what she put in the offer for. Even the realtor said, I don't think they're gonna work. She said, all they can do is tell me no. All they can do is tell me no. She put in that offer and it was accepted. Now she's living off of very little, but she's living in a beautiful neighborhood, beautiful home. She ain't stressed. She already retired, and she paying far less. By the time they hit closing, that house went back up in value because of that area. You know what I'm saying? She had to do negotiation because she wasn't able to get that funds, and she had to do some creative things. She didn't give up. She extended the closing date to another 15 days, bought some more time, and she talked to people. She was transparent. And the bank, it was bank owned. She worked with the bank. She talked with the bank, and she stayed on it. And guess what? She ended up acquiring that piece of property. And now that property is easily, she probably paid a little bit more than $100,000 for this piece of property, maybe 7 years ago. That property is probably knocking and tapping on $400,000. Now you do the math. The young 100s and 5 and 6 years ago, and now we're talking about high 300s to 400. She did the right location. She negotiated. She spoke up. She did what she could do, and she persevered, and she kept the faith. You can do it. You can do it. She and a lot of all of us are no greater than you or anybody else. But if you don't open your mouth and you don't ask, you won't get a yes. And the worst thing people could say to you is no. And remember, you don't fall in love with it. You want it, but you don't fall in love with it, and you move on. Because eventually all them no's you'll get closer and closer to a yes. So if you don't ask, you won't get a yes. Refine, how you doing? What's going on? Robin, the bank. What's going on? Good morning to you, beautiful. So I just want to leave y'all with just a few strategies to the builders. What's going on? Gigi, that's up north. My neighbor called. Oh, you're talking to Gigi. But I just want to give you just a little glimpse of hope because you can do it, no matter what it is. Even if we're talking about transportation for us cars, talking about Chris White says, God first, prayer, stay focused on the dream, be blessed. I'm gonna sum it up with that. Y'all be well, be blessed. Couldn't have said it more better. I'm gonna leave y'all out with Chris. Y'all stay well, and don't forget whatever you do, don't forget to keep on growing. Grow. Y'all take care and stay blessed. Stay well. Love y'all. Till next time. Peace. Y'all take care.